Of Chicago and Harris campaign surrogate Brandon Johnson joins me now. Mr. Mayor, thanks so much for being here. Do these latest polls worry you at all that momentum may be shifting toward Trump?
Well, the momentum is certainly with Vice President Kamala Harris. We made it an historic, we created an historic opportunity when we launched her in the city of Chicago, the first Black woman to be nominated for a major party. You saw all of that energy going into the DNC, as well as the energy that is now upon us. If you look at the way young people are responding, the way working people are responding, the fact that we have such a high number of early voters. I'm going to tell you this: someone who has won and ran campaigns, early votes tend to go with the progressive voice, the voice of the working people. And that's what we're seeing all over the country.
Meantime, Harris is working hard to win over these moderate Republicans who voted for Nikki Haley in the primary, even after Haley was no longer in the race. She's got Republican Liz Cheney by her side. More than 100 Republicans have joined her on the campaign trail. And this comes as Harris has put more ads out featuring members of Trump's own administration attacking him. Watch.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator, and we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is too big a risk for America.
She's airing this ad more than any other ad, more than her ads on the economy, more than her ads on reproductive rights, which has been a huge issue for female voters. She's banking on that small sliver of voters who are wavering on whether to vote for Trump.
Well, first of all, it's clear that the former president has embraced the ideology of the Confederacy. His vice presidential nominee said as much, that he is on the side of the Confederacy, taking us back to a time in our nation's history that not only had the most dramatic divide, but you saw people marginalized, whether it's Black folks, brown folks, Muslims, women.
What do you mean? I don't understand. What do you mean by he's going back to the Confederacy?
Well, that's what the vice president nominee has said, that he is on the side of the Confederacy. That, look, there are people who have not accepted the results of the Civil War, and they want to take us back to a time in this country where some said it was great, but for women, for people of color, for young people, it wasn't. Vice President Kamala Harris has a vision for us moving forward, investing in education, investing in behavioral health, investing in jobs, creating opportunities for entrepreneurs. Look, the bottom line is this. We need a president who, first of all, recognizes and understands that our democracy is precious, not someone who says you won't ever have to worry about voting again. What does that say to Black folks? What does that say to women? What does that say to people who've been on the margins for a very long time, where voting as a fundamental function of our democracy is now at stake? But here's the good news, that when it comes to the Inflation Reduction Act, we're talking about billions of dollars to build our economy, particularly the green and blue economy. Right here in Chicago, Detroit, 20% of the world's fresh water is right here in the Midwest. People from all over the world will see the natural resource that we have in the blue wall and see it as an advantage to their families.
But getting back to my original question, which was, you know, her really sort of betting everything on these ads that feature his own staff members attacking Trump and saying he's not fit to be president. The DNC did focus groups on the character issue in 2020, and they found that a lot of people didn't like Trump, but they voted for him anyway. Why do you think this ad is the best thing to convince those voters who will hold their nose and vote for Trump that they should instead vote for Harris?
You're showing one ad. Now, what I could say about that one ad, because that doesn't speak to her full vision for America. What that one ad indicates is that people of his own party who work for him recognize that he's dangerous. So that is news for individuals who perhaps didn't know that. Now, people like me, we've always known that he's been dangerous. So now people who've actually worked with him who recognize eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of the Environment, controlling the Department of Justice. These are dangerous policies that have severe consequences for the people of this country. What Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz have done, first of all, shout out to Governor Tim Walz as a former fellow social studies teacher. We have to elect more social studies teachers. These individuals understand what working people need every single day. And what working people need is they need certainty that this economy is going to work for all of them. And that's the vision that Vice President Kamala Harris has. And that's.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.